Well, hi everybody. What's up? It's me, Jessica, your health fitness program manager from McLean, and we're about to roll around on the floor and enjoy a delightful, relaxing yin yoga practice. I'm recommending that you bring two blocks to today's mat space. And if you don't have any blocks, if you have some rolled up towels that you can bring, a structured blanket that you can fold, that's great. And we're going to meet on the floor in Sukhasana, a comfortable, easy seated position of your choice. I'm going for a little cross leg. And if you join me in cross leg or any sort of cross position, but you find your knees are coming all the way up towards your chest. If you can't relax any of your outer thighs to the floor, it's a great opportunity to use that rolled up towel, pillow, block, blanket to gently lift your hips. Even just 2 inches off the floor can help you to create that sloping of your knees away from your chest. Whenever you found how you would like to be seated to get started today, let's start to relax. Sit bones pressing into whatever they are sitting on. Shoulders relaxed away from your ears and start to tune into your breath. Perhaps you even close your eyes, and if your eyes are open, find one spot for them to focus. And throughout today's practice, keep in mind that if your eyes are moving, your mind is moving. So do your best to find that one focal point and truly start to relax. As you tune into your breath, notice how and where you're breathing. If your shoulders are creeping all the way up towards your ears on an inhale, that's a big sign of stress. So work on your inhale instead to send that full breath all the way down to the bottom of your belly, to your diaphragm. We're just going to start to create some stillness. If you want to set an intention for today's practice, it's a wonderful time to do so. It's a whole new year. We're still in January. So I know I've been working on my intention for myself for this year. And somewhere along the thought process of I am responsible and I am capable of creating positive and lasting change. And if you have an affirmation that you're working on or would like to share, I'd love to see it in the comments. And for now, we've got 1 more minute here, simply tuning into your breath, into this moment, letting everything else go. And if you find your mind is still drifting, taking the time to count the length of your inhale and then count the length of your exhale. Hopefully, a second or two, or maybe more longer is a great way to stay in this moment with the hopes that one breath, one day at a time, we truly are becoming the best version of ourselves we can be. Pardon me. On your next inhale, bring your arms up overhead. And on your exhale, we're going to twist to the left. Relax your arms down by your side. Left hand can come close by your glutes. Right hand can maybe come to your inner right thigh, or perhaps you reach towards your left leg. However, if reaching towards your left leg brought a lot of crunching and rounding to your back, where can you keep that long length in your back? Your shoulders drawn away from your ears, and really take a twist of your shoulders. That's what your hand is here to help. When you can't open your shoulders and open your chest anymore, turn, twist your head, look over your left shoulder. A gentle engagement of your belly is going to keep your back feeling good. And remember, if your eyes are open, you're finding one spot to focus them. Eyes moving is mind moving, and we're creating as much stillness physically, mentally, as we possibly can. On your next inhale, bring your arms out wide up overhead. And on the exhale, let's turn and twist in the opposite direction. Right hand comes close by the base of the spine towards the floor. Left hand might come to the inner left thigh, or perhaps you can reach over to the right thigh. But remember, if that rounding and collapsing happens in your chest, come back to where your chest is really lifted. Draw your right shoulder back, left shoulder forward. Sit bones are still ground. And when you can't open your shoulders and your chest anymore, turn, twist your head. Find that one spot. Focus your eyes. Stay relaxed in your breath. Enjoy. On your next inhale, bring your arms up overhead, out nice and wide. Turn back to the front. And on your exhale, relax your hands down to your lap. Just take one more moment in your stillness, allowing those side body stretches to sink in, perhaps coming back to your intention if you set one for class. Perhaps just noticing that you feel a little bit more relaxed. Hopefully, your shoulders are further away from your ears. It's easier to find the heaviness of your elbows to the floor. Starting to come into the stillness itself feels a little easier, and your breath is smooth and steady. Okay. If your hamstrings are really tight, you can always stay up on the block. Otherwise, option to remove the block from underneath of you. Let's go ahead and bend your knees for a moment. And windshield wipe your legs. Hands are going to come behind you for some support. A gentle windshield wiping of your legs. And then let's send them out nice and long in front of us. So here's where sitting on the block still might feel good for some people. If you're feeling real tight, keep your hands right by your hips. Lift your chest, shoulders away from ears, and you can hang out here in staff pose. And if you have a little bit more flexibility in you, you can start to walk yourself forward. And you're working to bring your belly towards your thighs. So if you hinge forward and your belly is nowhere near your thighs, especially if you're not on the block, you can always walk your hips back one by one to bring your belly and thighs closer together. Or perhaps you take a generous bend of your knees. Pardon, pardon me. Take a generous bend of your knees, and that way your belly also comes to your thighs. Your fingers on the floor can help you to gently pull your chest forward. And if there's still a lot of space, then simply bring that block underneath of your belly as an option. Chin can gently come towards your chest. Let's hang out here for another full minute in some version of either staff pose, lifted, stacked, or caterpillar. Taking a little rounding through the back. If you took this big forward fold, gently draw your belly in. Use your hands, help you walk yourself up. Move the block to the side. If you're using it, hands can come behind you. Bend your knees. Let's take that windshield wipe of our legs once again. And then even an option for a little seated, supported back bend, squeezing your shoulder blades together, down and back, lifting up your chest. Staying upright with your hands on the floor behind you, we're going to cross the right ankle over the left thigh. And if you're close enough that this is already a deep hip opener for you, great. Otherwise, perhaps you can walk yourself in a little bit closer, being lifted, finding a way that it feels okay to have your hands or your knuckles on the floor or even on a block behind you to find that lift if that's what feels good. We've got just over a minute to go. Sending that right knee away from you for a little upright figure four pose. Last few breaths here. You've got it. Keep your eyes focused. Make sure you're still breathing. I know some of these stretches can get a little intense, and when a stretch gets intense, there's a strong possibility you start to hold your breath. But to create that flexibility and make space, you have to keep breathing. So just find the stretch to the point where you can enjoy some stillness, where you enjoy the stretch. It's noticeable and your breath is still and steady. On your next exhale, we're going to extend left leg long and two options. Can you bring your left sole of the foot closer to your hip crease for a little half lotus? If it's too much for you to have that right ankle on top of your left thigh, simply bring it to touch on the inside of your thigh and let's hinge forward. We're going to go for that extra little stretch here. So make sure there's no pain in your knee. If there is any sort of pain in your knee, releasing that foot back down towards the floor. We're hanging out here for just over a minute from right now. I like the stretch because having the foot on the thigh is also like a delightful little bit of self myofascial release. The pressure of your right ankle into your left quad. And if your belly's not touching your thighs, I hope that you grabbed your block for some support to bring yourself closer to feel good. Ooh. Start to scan your body from head to toe and notice where you can soften a little bit. Where are your body's natural points of holding tension? For me, shoulders creep up towards my ears, jaw tenses, glutes tense. So using your breath to scan your whole body, pardon me, put a little extra attention to those spots where you know the tension comes back. On your next inhale, low belly pulled in, lift yourself up, walk your hands back, uncross your right leg, extend it long to meet with the left. Hands can come behind you for some support. Windshield wipe your feet, bob your knees, perhaps give yourself another supported little back bend. And then hands firmly planted on the floor. Take a moment, lean back. Let's bend the right leg this time. Left ankle crosses over the right side. Move into a whole new side of the body. No judgment, no expectation. If you can, walk yourself up. Find that upright figure four stretch right here. Chest is lifted, shoulders rolled down and back the best that you can. Creating some stillness. Enjoying your breath. Finding your focus. Last few breaths right here. Perhaps you relax a little bit more, knowing it's close to being finished. On your next exhale, left ankle still crossed over the right thigh. Start to extend that right leg long. Come back to your sit bones. Same two options, whole new side of the body. Maybe the sole of the left foot comes to the right inner thigh. Maybe the sole of the left foot can come up to your right hip crease. Find what feels good for you and as much of a forward fold as you enjoy. You're working to bring the shoulders in front of the hips, and then you can take some rounding. If your shoulders are behind your hips, really work to lift your chest. Again, the option to walk those glutes back so that you can hinge forward safely. Remember, if your knee is feeling too tight or too much tension, just bring that foot off of your thigh. Otherwise, keep your breath, stay still. We're almost there. Pardon me. If you took a forward fold, draw your belly gently in, lift yourself up. Hands come behind you, uncross your legs, extend your left leg long to meet with the right. Take a moment, windshield wipe your feet, bob your knees, and then let's swing our legs underneath of us. Coming through into tabletop, enjoy some cat-cow, time for some free motion, enjoy whatever feels good for you. We've got just about a minute of cat-cow. I'm going to tuck my shirt in like a winner. But I hope that you at home will just keep cat-cowing and enjoying yourself. Great. Keep a block towards the top of your mat as we might need it in a little bit. But for now, open your knees as wide as you want. Bring your toes together. Send your glutes back towards your heels. Relax, release your head and hairline to the floor for some child's pose. Your arms can be extended far in front of you. You can take a generous bend of your elbows. Maybe your hands even reach all the way back towards your heels. We're going to slide into puppy pose a little bit, so you will have the opportunity to have those arms extended long if you'd like to do something else for right now. Start to send your big breaths to the back side of your body. So on your inhale, you create and feel expansion between each of your ribs. And on your exhale, your head can sink a little heavier towards the floor. Your chest can press a little more into your thighs. Your glutes might come a little closer towards your heels. If arms or elbows were towards the back of the mat or bent, start to extend your arms towards the top of the mat. Look, eye gaze towards the top of the mat. We're going to shift ourselves forward and work to bring your chest down towards the floor. And if your chest is really tight, if your back is really tight, you might not be able to get your chest towards the floor. And that's where this block comes into play, that you can bring your chest onto your block or your pillow or your towel. We're working to stack hips a little more on top of knees. And if you're feeling really open, chin can stretch forward, eye gaze stays forward. And if you need a little bit less, for puppy pose, head can always come down towards the floor. Be kind to yourself today. And just keep breathing. Stretch your glutes towards the back of the room. So here, really push your knees down towards the floor. Think about that big stretch that you see all those adorable dogs doing. You are big stretch right now. So find that big stretch, press through your hands, palms towards the top of the mat, press down through your knees, find that separation of your glutes. Enjoy your big stretch. We have a couple breaths left to go. All right, we're going to slink our whole body forward. So moving that block out of the way if you had one. Forearms come down to the ground, legs extend long, hips, pelvis comes down to the mat for a little sphinx pose. Draw your elbows back towards your hips. Roll your shoulders down and back. So you're gently pulling your chest through, and if your head feels really heavy, you can tuck your chin towards your chest. Keep squeezing your shoulder blades together though, and see how it feels. Squeeze your glutes. Get a little contraction and engagement of the lower body to take some pressure out of your low back. We have a couple more breaths here with head facing forward. And as you're ready on your next exhale, slowly turn, twist, look over your right shoulder, still pressing elbows down to the floor, in towards your hips, shoulders down and back. One more deep inhale, and exhale, slowly turn, twist, look over the opposite shoulder. Almost there. On your next breath, turn your head back forward, make a pillow with your hands. Open your elbows really nice and wide. Place your forehead down on your pillow and see if just your breath can be enough for you to relax here. If you're still feeling a lot of tension and tightness in your low back, then bend your knees, soles the feet up towards the ceiling. You can windshield wipe your legs right and left, right and left. Otherwise, just staying in your stillness in alligator, letting breath create positive change. And a quick relaxation, total reset for the shoulders. Relax your arms down by your side, palms facing up to the ceiling. Turn, twist, place your left ear on the mat. Allow your shoulders to droop towards the floor. Savasana for just a moment on your belly. On your next inhale, slowly, carefully pick up your head, turn, twist opposite direction, right ear on the mat. Fingers gently stretch towards your heels, and then shoulders gently relax and open, opening your back, opening your mind, enjoying your breath. Gently drag your fingers back underneath of your shoulders. We're going to press ourselves up, move through tabletop, get some cat cows one more time. So walk your knees in, spread your fingers really wide. Make sure you get a good stretch between the webbing of your fingers. And maybe you do something a little different for the second time through of cat cow. Awesome sauce. Okay, go ahead, tuck your toes under. Try and get as much of your toes, even the pinky toe, tucked underneath. We're going for 1 minute of big toe stretch. Let's start to walk your hands back. You might not be able to walk your hands very far back. This might be all the pressure that you're able to bring into opening your feet. If you're ready or looking for more, start to walk your hands onto your thighs, working to sit your glutes on top of your heels. Our minute starts right now. If at any point the pressure comes too much, simply release your hands back down towards the floor. Relax where you can, but take this time right now to tune back into your breath. How long and slow can you make your inhale? How long and slow can you make your exhale? More than halfway through. Last breath. Awesome. Bring your hands back down to the floor in tabletop if they weren't already there. Untuck your toes, tap the tops of the feet down to the mat. And then let's make our way onto our backs. Doo-doo-doo-doo. We're going to get a nice big stretch into our arms and our upper body from here on our back because we're going to take a reclined cow face pose. So you're going to, as we lay down, we're going to bring our right hand to the low back, palm facing down. And we're going to bring our right hand palm is going to face down to the floor. Yes, our left hand palm, elbow is going to bend and palm is going to touch our backs. And you might be able to walk and wiggle your fingers together so that they actually touch, but they don't need to. Okay. So as you lay yourself down, your knees might be bent as you roll yourself over and get your right hand under your back. Inhale that left arm up overhead, bend at the elbows, and try and point your elbows in opposite direction. Knees can stay bent here, or go ahead, extend your legs nice and long. Find what feels good. Apply some pressure from your back of your head into your left forearm. Maybe your bicep is even under your head. Just take that gentle stretch of your elbows in opposite direction. A nice reclined cow face pose. And perhaps you want to bring a little something extra to your legs. Your legs can come into fire logs. Your legs can be in a bound angle. Just find what feels good and where you can create stillness. Okay, if you adjusted your legs, you might want to bring the soles of the feet back down to the floor. We're coming out opposite the way we went in. So that left arm comes out first and that right arm comes out second. Take a moment, take a breath. And then when you're ready, we'll get the opposite side. So this time, left palm comes underneath of your back, palm facing down towards the floor. Arm inhales up overhead, bending at the elbow. Your palm is now touching your back, and your hands might come together today or in the future, but it's okay if they don't. We're just doing our best to point elbows in opposite direction to create the stretch that is noticeable, meaningful, gently probably uncomfortable, but where you can still breathe. And then doing whatever feels right with your legs. Maybe they stay exactly as they are. And let's gently release. So bringing that right arm out from underneath of you, bringing your left arm out from underneath of you. Take a moment, draw your knees to your chest. Give yourself a big squeeze, one big hug, one last stretch. And then when you're ready, extend your legs long, arms come by your side, heels touch, toes fall open, coming into our final Savasana. Do your best to relax the back of your head and your neck, shoulders, your upper back, your middle back. Take the tension out of your belly, glutes relaxing on the floor. Perhaps you even feel a tingling sensation as blood flow returns to normal in your arms. If you set an intention for today's practice, I encourage you to bring that back into your drishti, your focus, your heart, your mind. And if you hadn't set an intention for today's practice, it's never too late to do so. Thank you all so much for coming and joining me today. If no one's told you, you are special. You are worth it. You are worthy. And I'm so proud of you. And I hope you're so proud of yourself for creating this time in your day to focus on your physical and mental health, to take some breaths. One day, one breath at a time, we truly do start to feel a little bit better. All of the bad can fall away as we create this time to focus on ourselves. And the more that we do so, we also encourage others to create that time. And together as a community, we feel our best. I'm going to leave you here on the floor in your final Savasana. And I hope that you'll stay as long as you need, which may or may not be longer than you want to do so. When you do decide that the time is right to get up, may there be some lightness to your step, to your heart, to the rest of your day. Namaste.